Hello, brick sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and it is time for another tree video. As you might know, I am doing an entire series just on building trees. I'm trying to do 2 a month, and I have an exciting one for us today. Before we get started, if you like this kind of content, if you like doing builds, especially if you like tree builds, because I love tree builds, please like and please subscribe, because I'm going to do more like this in the future, and I'd hate for you guys to miss out. And it is the best way to help me with this content is if you subscribe. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. Today we're going to talk about a very difficult type of tree, the birch tree. Now the birch tree is challenging for a few reasons. Number one, the color. Birch trees are typically white with black stripes, which makes for a very challenging and different color palette than we normally would do for trees. This is everything I'm going to use for the trunk and stems and branches of this tree. I have a list in the description of all the parts needed to build this tree, so you can follow along and order the parts if you wish to build this tree on your own. The next reason building a birch tree is difficult is it has very small leaves, which means I can't use giant 3-leaf pieces to cover the whole thing. Instead, I'm going to be using just branch pieces. I find that when a tree has small leaves, branch pieces alone look a little bit thinner, like a cluster of small leaves, as opposed to covering it in 3-leaf pieces, and then it looks like a nice thick tree, like maybe an oak or maple or something like that. So we're going to use just these branch pieces. This is going to make up our stem and trunk. And the last reason that birch trees are quite difficult is the angles. See, birch trees typically start to split off, especially when they're smaller, low, and they have a lot of angled branches coming out from more toward the bottom of the trunk. So we need to make a lot of angles on this tree to make it look like an accurate birch tree. Now, a birch tree has been something I've been after for a while, and I finally sat down and said, you know what, it's time, let's do the birch tree. So here we go. This is the Brick Sculpt birch tree. We're going to start off with a 1x1 round brick. That's going to go down first. The next piece, we're going to use a 1x1 round plate in black. That goes right on top of it. Now we have to be careful with the black and white stripes, because if we do too much black, it's going to look like a zebra. And if we do too little, it's just going to look white. So we have to be very selective with how many black portions we put in this tree to make it look as accurate as possible. And I think I did a pretty good job of it. You'll see when I'm done here. The next piece is going to be one of these D-snot pieces. And I'm basically going to put that on here and have the stud facing kind of back and to the right. So maybe a 45-degree angle from straight back. After that, I'm going to use another 1x1 round brick right on top of it. And then another D-snot piece. And this one's going to also face back, but in the other direction, maybe 45 this way. Now, the cool thing about building trees is they all look different. So even if your tree doesn't look exactly like mine, or maybe you take a few liberties in it and change some things up, that's okay. Trees aren't perfect. They're all different. They all have different things. And if a tree is patchy or spotty or awkward looking, guess what? Real trees are also patchy and spotty and awkward looking. So if you put it in a forest full of trees, it'll look perfect. But we're going to go ahead and build this, and we're going to build this design in 4 different pieces because this one is a little bit more challenging to follow. So I'm going to start with the central trunk here. I'm going to build a limb coming off the right, a limb coming off the left, and then I'll build the top section. After this second D-snot piece, we're going to use another 1x1 round plate. Now for this one, it is important, at least if you want to use my method, to have an open stud on top. This is going to go right on top of here. And I'll show you why that open stud is important. Now, for once in a build, the Technic pin connector slot has come in handy. Usually these are a burden. You have to try to hide them or find some way to make them look minimal. But in this build, we're going to use that to our advantage. Because remember, this tree is supposed to be white with black stripes. So we can use that to our advantage. I'm going to take 3 Technic pin connectors and connect them with Technic pins. Just like that. Now again, we're going to use these lines to our advantage. I'm going to rotate them a little bit just so they don't all perfectly line up. And whatever is going to be the focal point of the tree, I want those facing forward because the back isn't going to have them. Now this piece here is a 4-long bar, and this I'm going to use for stability and to help this all stay together. So this is going to go in the top of this. This step is optional, but it helps make the tree more rigid. It also helps fill this out so these don't twist as easily. And I'm going to stick that right down the middle of the pin connectors. I'm sorry, the Technic pins. If you use older pins, it won't fit. The newer ones do fit a bar down the middle though. And it's just going to give it a little added stability, and this is going to clip right into that 1x1 plate. And that is basically the basis of our trunk. Now let's go ahead and build our left and right branches. We're going to start with this piece here. Now you might find you like this better in white. One, I didn't own this in white, and two, I actually like it in black. I think it looks good. You're not going to see a lot of it because it is behind the tree, but that's what I'm going to start with. It's one of these little 1x1 rounds with the bar coming off of it. The next piece we need is a white candlestick, and we're just going to push one of those right onto the end, and we're going to put a second one right on the end. Now we're going to start with our greenery here. The cool thing about this is you can mix it up however you want. I'm doing all my greenery just in these larger pieces. You can put small ones in there as well. The reason I did the larger ones is I used bright green for this. In looking at pictures of birch trees, they have smaller leaves. They tend to be pretty vibrant green, so I wanted the brighter green. You can do it however you want. You can use regular green, dark green, whatever you want to put on there, but I think this looks best. That's what I wanted to use. I'm just going to push this onto the candlestick. I would recommend using one of these smaller holes, not the big ones on the end, just because they connect better. The candlesticks, if you put them here, they barely connect, and here they connect nice and strong. So that's how I like to do it on this section. Next, we're going to take a 1x1 round plate with open stud. The open stud is very important, and put that right on top. This will allow us to take another candlestick and put it down in the middle there. Now we need to, this is going to stick off the side of the tree, so it's going to come at an angle, but we need to just straighten out. You know, branches tend to come off at angles when they tend to go up toward the sunlight. So we need to straighten it out. The way we're going to do that, we're going to take one of these clips in black. It's a nice way to add a little bit of black to it without adding too much. Another branch piece. We're going to push the clip through the branch piece, just like that. And we're going to stick this on our tree limb, just like that. Make sure you mix up the directions of all of these so they're not all in one place. And then we need to put a hinge on there. For the hinge, I use these bar holders. And that's just going to pop right in there and allow it to angle this branch going further. For the next piece, I'm going to have a 3-long bar piece. I'm going to plug that right into the end of this. Just like that. And then we're going to put 2 more branch pieces on this. For this one, I'm just going to put them right down the middle and just change the orientation of each of these limbs. And that is going to be the first branch of our tree. That's going to be the right side here. I'm going to set that off to the side for now. We'll come back to it later. Let's go ahead and build the left side. The left side is going to start the same with one of these 1x1 rounds with the bar coming off of it. And then a candlestick. Another greenery piece right on the end there. 1x1 round plate with open stud on top. Another candlestick. Here we're going to do our clip piece. So we're going to take a branch, stick it through, stick that on the end. Now we're going to need our swiveling piece right there. And then for this side, I'm going to use a 4-long piece. So this one's a little bit longer on the end, but a little bit shorter at the start. That's the only real difference between these two. 4-long bar instead of 3-long bar, 1 candlestick instead of 2, just to mix it up a little bit. For this one, I'm going to put 2 pieces of greenery on the end. I'm not going to put this one right in the center, just to make it a little different. And then 1 right on top. And I might push this one up just a bit. Whoops. It is a little bit delicate. You do have to be a little careful handling this one. And there's our second branch piece. Now continuing with this here, we need to start building our way up. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of these ones, one by one, with the little bar piece coming off it. That's going to go upside down right on top of our trunk, just like that. Next, we're going to take a black one by one round, stick it on top of there, and then a white one by one round plate right on top of that. Another D-snot piece upside down and with the stud on the side there. We're going to take another one of these one by one rounds with the bar coming off it, stick it off that D-snot piece. And then we're going to take a one by one round brick, a 6 long white bar, put that down inside. So the brick's going to be upside down. This is going to come down in the open stud. We're going to take a cone piece, one by one cone, push that down the other side until they meet up and make one nice top piece like that. And then this is just going to fit down into that D-snot, and that will be the height of the tree there. On the back, we're going to make a branch, just one of these clips with bar holder and a 3 long bar. On this one, we're going to place 2 pieces of greenery, one all the way down, and then one at the end of the branch. This is going to pop off the back here. Whoops. Just like that. And on the front one here, we're going to take one greenery piece and just push it onto this bar and get the angle just right. There we go. For the top, we're going to put 3 greenery pieces on there. Just mixing up their orientation. There's one. We'll put one right in the middle of the bar, and then one at the top. Just making sure to vary up the position of these. And the top of the tree is complete. Now we just have to stick our branches on, and we're done. For this first one, we're going to take the one by one round, stick it on the D-snot on the back, and then we're just going to adjust the angle. So we're going to bring this up, and then eventually we're going to turn this up. Make sure that this end is kind of parallel to the trunk and facing upward. And you may need to position some of these things differently so the branches don't hit. And then the other side, same thing. We're going to push this on the lower D-snot here. I might pivot this around a little bit more. You see, these don't look too bad. If you want them in white, you can do them in white. But I actually thought they looked pretty good. They give it a little bit more black in the trunk. You know, it's really rides a fine line. You don't want too much of the black stripes, because then it will be kind of overpowering, but you want just enough. The tree is mostly white, with just hints of black in it, and that is really tricky to do with Lego. And there is my birch tree. And you will want to fiddle around with the branches a little bit, try to get everything where you want it. And the tree is a little bit delicate, so be careful. I have crumbled a few of these in playing around with them and building them. But that is my birch tree design. I think it turned out pretty good. Let me know below what you guys think. Let me bring that up just a bit. Get it positioned just right where you want everything. Oops. And like I said, these branches can fall off, so be careful when you're handling it. And there you go. Now, first thing you're probably thinking of is, it's fall. We're doing the fall challenge. Chris has been building fall trees. Where's the fall variant? Well, of course I had to do that. So I started with one with dark orange. I think that looks pretty darn cool. In doing more research of pictures of birch trees, I found that they have very bright leaves when they start to lose their leaves. It's almost like a vibrant yellow. So I decided to do one with these new orangish yellowish ones, and I really like how that turned out. You'll notice that these are kind of thinner trees. Birch trees have a lot of space in them. There's small leaves. They have a lot of small leaves, but they're fairly see-through. They're kind of in clusters, and I think that was kind of the look we're going for here. I think it turned out pretty good, but that yellow just looks fantastic for a fall build. Now, the next thing you're probably asking is, okay, that's cool, but do I really need a birch tree? What if I just make it traditional tree colors, brown and green? Well, this video is about birch trees, but of course I did that too. Here it is in all brown with green. I think it looks pretty good. I used dark green just because I wanted to mix it up. I did substitute a few pieces. I did not have, I don't know if they make D-snot pieces in reddish brown, but I didn't have them. So I just used some of these reddish brown snot pieces. They don't look as good, but they work. So I used those instead of the D-snots. Everything else is pretty much the same. But it looks okay. Personally, for this style of tree, I think it looks a little thin. It doesn't have a lot of branches on it or a lot of leaves for a tree like that. So I figured I'd do one more and cover it in 3-leaf pieces. And it looks like this. And honestly, I think this looks fantastic. I would definitely use this in my Lego city. And real simple. I just took the same design, and every one of the branch pieces, I covered it in 3-leaf pieces, and it's a super full looking tree. Lots of detail, and you could make this as big or as small as you wanted to. So very happy with how that came out. Lots of good angles on it, lots of good angled branches. That is a good looking tree. Well, I hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. We'll do more just like this in the future. That's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.